Grand Canyon University, an affordable private Christian university, is one of the largest and fastest growing universities in the country, offering more than 270 programs online. In addition to federal grants and aid, GCU's online students received nearly $130 million in institutional scholarships in 2022. Find your purpose at Grand Canyon University. Private, Christian, affordable. Visit gcu.edu/myoffer to see the scholarships you may qualify for.
What's the easiest choice you can make? Window instead of middle seat? Picking a vendor who sends a great gift basket? Outsourcing business tasks you hate? What about selling with Shopify? Whether you're selling a little or a lot, Shopify helps you do your thing, however you cha-ching. Shopify is the global commerce platform that helps you sell at every stage of your business. From the launch your online shop stage to the first real-life store stage, all the way to the did we just hit 1 million orders stage? Shopify's there to help you grow. Whether you're selling scented soap or offering outdoor outfits, Shopify helps you sell. Wherever and whatever you're selling, Shopify's got you covered. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/try. Go to shopify.com/try now to grow your business, no matter what stage you're in. Shopify.com/try.
Following program are pre-recorded. Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1270.
Super Talk 1270, you're tuned to Talk of the Town. I'm Steve Bakken along with Lori Hintz from Beck News. You can go to becktv.plus. Their brand new platform,
app, all of it.
Kinds of cool stuff.
Yep.
If you actually want to follow everything going on with Summit Carbon Solutions' proposed CO2 pipeline or some of the other stories that Lori does, you can go to live shows and on demand. Everything is right there. But brand new app, new platform, becktv.plus.
Just look for Capturing America's Heartland CO2 Pipeline. It's down by the China Conquest series down at the bottom.
The China Conquest.
That was, it is.
Fu Fang and all of that.
That's our jam. We're doing our best to protect our state. That's the way it is.
And the country, for that matter.
That's
so
true.
right here for Beck TV. All right. Okay, Lori, so there is so much to cover. Let's get right into this. And I want to start by laying a little bit of a foundation. So we've talked in the past about the methodology of, okay, if you're this audience, you hear one thing. If you're this audience, you hear something else. If you're this audience, you hear something else. We hear locally that a lot of this is about enhanced oil recovery. Oh, my gosh, this is going to save
oil.
Mm-hmm. It's going to save
We'll get that last little bit out of it.
Eggs in trouble, too, I guess.
Right.
Well, okay, enhanced oil recovery. And I quote, "The Summit Carbon Solutions project will not be used for enhanced oil recovery. The permits we have filed," this comes right from Summit, "the permits we have filed, which specifies exactly what we are requesting from regulators, note clearly that our project is about the permanent sequestration of CO2.
That comes literally from the Summit Carbon Solutions website.
Straight out. It's right on their page. Look it up yourself.
It's under Get the Facts.
Get the facts
as they know them.
Get whatever facts they think are facts. Iowa permit. The Summit Carbon Solutions pipeline will transport carbon dioxide, CO2, from participating ethanol plants in Iowa and other Midwestern states to North Dakota for permanent sequestration. South Dakota permit reads, the applicant proposes to build a carbon capture and sequestration project that will initially move up to 12 million metric tons per annum of carbon dioxide, with the potential for further expansion from participating industrial facilities in South Dakota, as well as CO2 from facilities in Minnesota, North Dakota, Iowa, and Nebraska to sequestration site in North Dakota, where the CO2 will be safely and permanently stored.
That word permanently stored. Yep.
Now, in North Dakota, we're like, but we need this for enhanced oil recovery.
It's really confusing.
Now, additionally, Summit Carbon Solutions sequestration site outside of Bismarck, North Dakota, is entirely separate and apart from the Bakken or other areas where enhanced oil recovery is possible. The company is investing $100 million in its permanent storage locations in North Dakota.
This is from their website.
This is right from their website. This is verbatim off of what they...
Yep.
Now, one of the things, and we've talked about this in the past, it's like, okay, as they keep signing on other companies, okay, and the permit for South Dakota states initially move up to 12 million metric tons per annum with the potential of further expansion.
Right. They leave that door wide open.
They leave that door open in
Yep.
South Dakota. But here it's like, oh, well, it's just a little pipeline. It's like, yeah, but with what they're trying to bring on, okay, at what point is it a 60-inch pipeline at a greater pressure?
It's so interesting that there are so many details that are very factual that people don't know. Number one, this company has never built a pipeline before. When people learn that, their initial...
What do you mean they're not a pipeline company? They're not a pipeline company.
So this company has never built a pipeline before, and yet we are to believe that this is going to be the best and the brightest and the greatest technology and the best safety that ever. This company has no experience with this. So that's a big red flag right there. Then when you go into this whole EOR thing and you're hearing this story repeatedly from people that, no, we'll be able to, squeeze out the last little bit of oil. We need this. How? How is that going to happen when the company is saying that it's going to be sequestered, which means put underground and stored there, as they say, permanently? It's just back and forth stories. It is not a consistent message, and it's very confusing to the public. And part of me wonders if that tactic is a chaos tactic where the goal is to throw out a lot of different things so that nobody really knows the truth about what's going on.
Here, watch this hand over here while we're doing something else over here. And by the way, don't pay attention behind what's behind the curtain.
It's curious.
It is extremely curious.
I did find...
Because, again, different pieces of information to different audiences. There's not a uniform, transparent piece to any of this.
Right.
And that is the biggest thing for me that throws up a flag.
Yeah, that's a red flag. Yeah, you want a consistent message, and you want some actual facts and truth. Now, there is an article that came out that is titled, this is by Taylor Noakes. This is from desmog.com. And it says, sell our CO2 to pump more oil? It's likely, says Iowa-based carbon capture project. Now, this article says that despite pledges to the contrary, a massive proposed carbon capture project could in fact be used to pump more oil out of the ground rather than simply storing carbon emissions from ethanol production, as it was pitched originally. This article cites a Reuters report that indicates that according to its review of regulatory filings and recordings of company officials, representatives from Summit Carbon Solutions have said the company is open to using captured carbon dioxide for enhanced oil recovery, which is EOR. If you ever hear that acronym, that's Enhanced Oil Recovery, EOR, a potential lifeline to North Dakota's waning oil sector. Today, here's a...
Because we're waning. Now we're waning. Wait. I want to stop for a second because I swear I've heard somewhere before, Lynn Helms, that your grandchildren's grandchildren will be profiting off of the Bakken. Okay, but now we're waning.
Now, this quote from this article says, quote, today we don't have any shippers who want to ship CO2 for EOR. When that changes, we will likely move it for that purpose. Wade Basons, Summit's executive vice president.
The perjurer, right?
That's the same guy
who
we'll
talk about that in a minute.
Who said that. Wade Basons, Summit's executive vice president, said at a December event in North Dakota hosted by the oil industry-backed AstroTurf group, Friends of Ag and Energy. So that's what the article says in this, too. So, but no, listen to how he words that.
Now they quote themselves for being credible news. Wow.
So we just read for you the Summit actual website thing about enhanced oil recovery. Right. It says it's not for enhanced oil recovery. This is just in December. This is the executive vice president saying today we don't have any shippers who want to ship CO2 for EOR. And then he doesn't say if that changes. He says when that changes, we will likely move it for that purpose.
Wow. You can't make it up. Can anybody be truthful
I
for
don't know.
one moment?
I don't know. I don't know.
And not
because
perjure themselves?
I don't.
We'll come back and talk about that in a few minutes as well.
Okay.
I want to talk about Lee Blank, too.
Yes.
Because that's an interesting piece. Before we get into the Wade stuff and perjury, this is Talk of the Town. I'm Steve Bakken along with Lori Hintz from Beck News. You can go to becktv.plus and check that out. Go to the live shows and on demand. Check out America's Heartland Capturing CO2. Just amazing story if you want to track the whole story behind this. This is Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1270.
Apply. Super Talk.
The comfort of your favorite seat is now your comfy car selling command center, thanks to Carvana.
It doesn't get any better than this.
Your favorite seat's the best spot in the house. Make it even better by entering your license plate or VIN and getting a real offer in minutes.
There really is no place like home.
And speaking of home, Carvana will pick up your car from yours after you finalize your offer. Visit Carvana.com or download the app and sell your car from your comfy place.
Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1270.
Super Talk 1270, you're tuned to Talk of the Town. I'm Steve Bakken along with Lori Hintz from Beck News. You can go to becktv.plus. Go to live shows and on demand, and you can follow everything going on with Summit Carbon Solutions' proposed CO2 pipeline and a lot of investigative reporting. And there's been a lot that's come out over the last week since we last talked. And Lee Blank is one of them because he spoke at a little conference.
Right. He's the CEO of Summit Carbon Solutions, and he was at the BNEF Summit in New York on April 16th and 17th. And on one of those days, he was part of a panel of 4 people, and he was being interviewed and spoke and said some incredible things that I was able to see the video of it, and then I was able to transcribe a lot of what he had to say. And they asked some fascinating questions of the people on the panel. The other folks on the panel with him were people from Savante, Erica Chan, head of sustainability for U.S. Steel, and then it was moderated by a gal named Julia Atwood, industrial decarbonization specialist with BNEF. And some of the questions that he was asked elicited some, shall we say, incredible answers. First of all, he was talking about the project, and he was asked,
the project,
the scale, the location, the applications. He said the whole project was conceived in 2019, and there are 3 phases to the project: capture from 57 ethanol plants, compress it, approximately 2,400 miles of pipe. It was 2,200 miles, as you remember, originally, and then it's grown since that time, and then send it through a pipeline system, what he called a transportation system, up to North Dakota, where, quote, we have 130,000 acres of sequestration area and storage horizons.
That's a lot of land.
That's a lot of land, and I had not heard that number before. So
that's a newer number.
That's 130,000 acres of sequestration area and storage horizons. He said 18 million tons of carbon will be sequestered and stored per year. He said we have 16 million tons of CO2.
How long before that's full?
Great question. He said
who owns the pore space?
Right?
Because that's been a fight in North Dakota for a while.
Exactly. So pore space, explain that to our listeners.
So the pore space is the space between solid material.
Correct.
You can have rock, and there's a pore space in there. And what the CO2 is going to do, and the discussion has been around pore space for a while of who owns that when it comes to injection wells and putting things back in. Is the mineral owner own that because they own the oil?
Mineral rights is a totally different thing.
Mineral rights, they own the minerals, but what about the space between the minerals?
Right.
And that's been a fight in North Dakota for a while now.
Think about how the minutia of that is. That's crazy that we're even having that discussion.
You own the oil down there, but the stuff between the oil, well,
and do you own the surface land, just the topsoil, or do you own everything that's below it?
Yeah, I mean, so now we're getting into some legalese and some nuances that I don't think have been fully vetted in North Dakota to begin with.
I know that the Northwest landowners are really working on this sort of thing, and God bless them and Derek Broughton for all their work doing that.
Well, and that's why I bring it up, because that's still up for debate.
Yeah. So this is what Lee Blank was being interviewed by this woman, and she talks to him about this, and he says, quote, I jokingly say that we've become a permitting company.
Oh, wait a minute. I thought you were a pipeline company.
Not a pipeline company. He jokingly says they've become a permitting company. So she asked him then, what is the biggest barrier to the project? And he said, there are a lot of barriers that are perceived in the media that truly aren't barriers to us. Safety is not a barrier to us.
Because if your pipe explodes and people die, you're nowhere to be found.
Who says
You're not
that?
near there.
Who says its safety is not a barrier to us? I was shocked when I heard that quote.
Working in any space in energy production, and I'll loosely attach this to energy production. If you're working with pipelines, whether it's oil, gas, what have you.
There was just an oil spill out in Medora.
If you're working in the oil business, if you're working in gas, if you're working in coal, there is nothing that supersedes safety.
Yeah.
What does everybody working out in the oil patch do first thing in the morning? Or in the coal industry, first thing in the morning, before you go on your shift? Safety meeting.
Yep.
Safety. So
for him,
safety.
This is the CEO. This is the CEO of Summit Carbon Solutions saying this. I just stopped and I listened to it again because I thought I was hearing things. I couldn't believe it. He says, he goes on to say, quote, we get a lot of discussion around safety around our assets, safety around the infrastructure project. There's 5,300 miles of CO2 pipelines operating in the U.S. today. Extremely safe. There's 3.2 million miles of commodity pipelines operating in the U.S. today, and they operate extremely safe.
Different animal.
And, well, exactly.
Different
We're talking
animal.
apples and oranges here. So, and that's the typical MO of the company, is to convolute regular pipelines with this pipeline. And they
by
are
the
not
way,
the same.
out of 5,300 miles,
correct.
we have 2 examples of catastrophic breakage.
Already.
Recently.
Once in 2020 and then just April 3rd.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'll never forget that date. It's my birthday. So,
right.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Unwrap that present. But 5,300 miles, and we've got 2 catastrophic incidences. Fortunately, thank God, nobody's died.
Do you know that second one, I think, would have been wildly catastrophic were it not for incredibly strong winds which were blowing the...
Maybe they're banking on that in North Dakota because we
do have the winds.
Strong
that is
winds.
true. The problem is that on those calm days, and the problem is that on those winter days, that is going to affect a plume that is not going to be
4 days a year.
Yeah.
I guess.
You might be right about that. So
okay,
maybe they are banking on that.
Something.
Maybe that's why the safety isn't that big of a deal. He's like, they got wind there all the time. Anyway, he says there's 3.2 million miles of commodity pipelines operating in the U.S. today, and they operate extremely safe. And so we have to overcome that barrier. And it's really for education to help people understand that there is no... I mean, everything is a risk, but there is no real safety risk when it comes to commodity pipelines.
You're right.
Quote.
Commodity pipelines, which are the other ones.
This is not...
Now, this comes back to the question, though.
Common carrier?
Yeah, it's the common carrier question, which I think has kind of gotten lost.
Yeah, I agree.
It really has. And then, is CO2 a pipeline? I had spoke, Jason Spies and I had spoke this week with a CEO of another ethanol plant. And I brought up the question about, is CO2 a commodity? And they're still vetting that. They're still vetting that. I view it as a commodity because if you're making beer or pop or in medical industry, it's a commodity.
So if
it's
that's
valuable.
the case, then...
A liter of CO2 is like $150 because they use it in surgeries.
Sure.
So it's a commodity.
Okay.
So why are we burying, or why does somebody want to bury a commodity?
That's a good question. Why are we not using that commodity for the state?
That?
Right, yeah.
Because, oh, wait a minute, they're chasing free tax dollars.
That's right.
With the Q45 credits. We're going to come back and finish up that conversation. We're talking with Lori Hintz from Beck News. You can go to BeckTV.plus. Find all things Summit Carbon Solutions proposed CO2 pipeline right there. This is Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1270.
The comfort of your favorite seat is now your comfy car selling command center, thanks to Carvana.
It doesn't get any better than this.
Your favorite seat's the best spot in the house. Make it even better by entering your license plate or VIN and getting a real offer in minutes.
There really is no place like home.
And speaking of home, Carvana will pick up your car from yours after you finalize your offer. Visit Carvana.com or download the app and sell your car from your comfy place.
NBA action with the Minnesota Timberwolves. Hear the games live on Super Talk 1270. Welcome back to Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1270.
Super Talk 1270. I'm Steve Bachman along with Lori Hintz from Beck News. You can go to becktv.plus and follow all things Summit Carbon Solutions proposed CO2 pipeline. Great new platform for Beck TV.
It's an awesome app, too. And you can look
Download
at things on demand, which is great. So anything that you're interested in, anything from Trent Lewis or Open Range, we've got amazing programming at Beck.
I love Ladies of Another View.
Yeah, they're really terrific too. They've got so many good guests, so many good topics, and it's a completely uncensored and unscripted format, which is a beautiful thing. People, can listen to people on television and know that they are being censored. We are not censored at all.
And the cool part is a lot of it's local issues or local topics or at least regional topics as well, and how that plays in. So Beck TV does a great job of weaving in a lot of different aspects in
Well, we
programming.
also talk national stuff that affects us locally. So that is it's a beautiful thing.
It's a lot of moving pieces.
Yeah,
so speaking of affecting us locally.
Yeah. So we were talking about Lee Blank before the break. And
speaking at BNEF Summit in New York City.
Okay, so Lee Blank, if you do not know, is the Summit Carbon Solutions CEO. And at this summit, he was on a panel and he was talking, and we were just talking about the fact that he was talking about the biggest barrier, and he was talking about Summit's view of safety or lack thereof. And he was asked on the speed of getting those 45Q tax credits. So at that point, he says, quote,
because speed equates to safety.
Well, no, it does not,
really?
actually.
I thought hey, come on, if I rush through something, guess what? I'm not as safe, and it's probably not going to turn out like I hoped it would turn out.
So this is his quote on the 45Q tax credits and the speed of getting them. He says, there's an old basketball adage that says, be quick, but don't hurry. I'm trying to help us all understand that we have to be quick, but not hurry, because we've got to do this right. And so, but I think that's really been the main thing as I focus on our company and think about the last 2 years when I've been involved, where some of the hurdles have been. It's really been about the velocity of the various levels of approval processes for our company.
Well, and okay, let's back up a little bit, and where the common carrier status discussion came up, because that's what it originally was in North Dakota,
right?
With the PSC. But look how fast they were trying to fast track things in North Dakota, because, well, we're tracing the dollars.
Right.
It's not the safety side. It's not doing the project right, not being quick. But no, they were hurrying.
They were hurrying
because they wanted to get in ahead of PHMSA.
Correct.
They wanted to get ahead of the tax credits.
Right.
They wanted to get this in quickly before anybody knew what was going on.
In addition, they've also got a looming election coming up too, and it's very possible that after the election, things may change too. So the company does have many motivations to try to get their project.
On the financial side, I don't think so, because in granted, it was taken on steroids under Biden, but the Q45 credits, that was
under Trump.
That was a Trump.
Mm-hmm.
And depending on who you talk about, the vice presidential candidate, there could be a fox in the hen house anyway. So anyway, we'll leave the election side of this out, but they have been in a hurry. They tried hurrying all of this.
It has definitely appeared that. And that was apparent to the people who were the landowners right off the bat. They were like, why are we rushing this? Why can't we get emergency information? Why are you going to do the project before you give us the emergency intel on it too? So she asked another question, this moderator did, about how to do community engagement well. That was what she said. So all
right, take everything Summit has done to this point, and if you want to do community engagement well, don't do any of that.
Well, that's what he said even. This is so funny. When she asked him that, how do you do community engagement well? He says, well, I'm not sure we've done it well, but we're getting much better. That's what he said. Quote, it was a learning curve. It was a learning it was a learning curve for us as well. And so over the last several years, I think we've gotten much better at it. So think about that statement. Over the last several years, we've gotten much better at it. I think the message or the lessons...
Wait. Several years ago, in North Dakota, there was zero community engagement.
Exactly right.
I mean, there were landowners that, why are there people on my land? That's where this came from.
Yep.
That's where we first heard about this in Emmons County and Burleigh County, and there was no community engagement.
He made some really, really honest statements coming up here. He said, I think the message or the lessons that we've learned is that politics are granular and they're local. He said, quote, when you talk about engagement, and we probably started too late, so he admits that.
They didn't start at all.
They really didn't. But then we got really active, he said. And we've held over 2,100 public meetings across the
wait a
five
minute.
state.
Then they got really active. But engaging whom?
Here's my favorite part.
And I'm going to go right to the Friends of Ag and Energy
Yep.
bull crap.
Yep.
It's like you have to be cognizant of who you're engaging.
Right.
Because that's just a mouthpiece for cashing a check.
When I read
that's not community engagement.
When I read 2,100 public meetings, I knew that was probably true. And here's why. Because I went to one in Linton, and there were 6 people there. And there were 6 people there because all of the invitations that had been sent out snail mail, I was told, by the Summit Carbon Solutions people who were at the meeting.
Maybe he just misspoke, and it wasn't 2,100 public meetings, but 2,100 public people they talked to.
I don't know what he was talking about with that, because if they have had those meetings, they are doing an incredibly poor job of advertising them. Just horrifically, terribly bad.
They haven't wanted people at public meetings.
If you have 2,100 meetings over, say this started in 2019.
You should have talked to hundreds of thousands of people by that point.
You would think.
And granted, this is across Iowa, South Dakota, North
5
Dakota.
states.
Yeah, 5 states, Nebraska, Minnesota, whatever it is. That's one ethanol plant. Mm-hmm. North Dakota, one ethanol plant.
Yep.
This is for South Dakota and Iowa.
Essentially. Yeah, it is. So he says, we've met with every county commission supervisory meeting that we cross, which is 80 to 90 counties. I don't recall them coming. Okay, just as a Burleigh County commissioner, I don't recall. And granted, I came in a little bit later with the passing of a previous commissioner to fill that role, but I don't recall Summit being at any county commission meetings in my tenure. I don't recall them being at any county commission meetings for Burleigh County prior to my we can ask
tenure.
Brian Bittner about that.
Yeah, that might be a Brian Bittner question.
But he says,
I don't recall them engaging
quote,
Burleigh County.
we've met with every county commission / supervisory meeting that we cross, which is 80 to 90 counties. We're expanding a little bit, so the number's changing. So ultimately, we're at every one of those monthly meetings. Those type of engagements are...
Well, I tell you what, I have a commission meeting tonight, and I will see if they're there. I'm going to ask everybody in the room. It's like, are you with Summit? Are you with Summit? I'm going to see if they're there tonight.
I would be really curious to see if this is actually true. So ultimately, we're at every one of those monthly meetings. Those type of engagements are necessary because ultimately politics are local. And so you have to have an educational process on a granular basis, he says, to help all the stakeholders, including the landowner that you're going to be working with, to understand what you're trying to accomplish. Quote, my advice is start that early. As Kelly mentioned, that is maybe where we didn't do as good a job as we should have. I think we're doing an excellent job of it today. Lee Blank.
I would disagree.
Summit Carbon Solutions
I'm going to ask that
CEO.
tonight if anybody from Summit, because we're having that discussion at the county commission tonight. We're having a discussion headed by Commissioner Bittner on where things are at right now with Summit Carbon Solutions in Burleigh County. So anybody out there, tune into public access, and you might want to pay attention to the Burleigh County Commission meeting tonight. We're talking with Lori Hintz from Beck TV. You can go to becktv.plus. This is Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1270.
Super Talk.
Man, that sunset is gorgeous.
Grill, patio, sunset. Hard to get better than that. Unless you're browsing Carvana's inventory while you soak it all in.
Oh, burger time.
So sit back, get comfortable. Carvana's got thousands of cars under $20,000 just waiting for you.
I could stay here forever.
Carvana, where car buying meets comfort, meets convenience. Download the app or visit Carvana.com today.
Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1270.
Super Talk 1270, you're tuned to Talk of the Town. I'm Steve Biken, along with Lori Hintz from Beck News. You can go to becktv.plus. Follow all things Summit Carbon Solutions, both CO2 pipeline, a lot of other great programming as well. Lori, just to finish up with Lee Blank, CEO for Summit, speaking at that conference.
One thing he did get asked at the very end was how optimistic on a scale of 1 to 10 he was with CCS, which is carbon capture and storage. And he said, I guess everyone's expectations about what CCS can look like may differ. So I'll say 8. So that was surprising to me. He says it's a very positive that this will happen. I will make one comment again. I'd like to say 10, but I don't think this, as I think about the size and scope of our project, he said, and how far along we are, if we don't get it with this, with an $8 billion project, I'm not sure the next ones are that will try. I thought that was incredibly telling, the way he said that.
So my question is, do we have the full investor list yet?
Well, we do not. But he said if we don't get it with this, with an $8 billion project, which, by the way, used to be $5.5 billion.
Yeah.
Before that, it was a $2 billion project. It has been moving up the scale as we go along. He says, I'm not sure the next ones are that will try get the project done. So I thought that was telling and very interesting.
Yeah, but here's
as well.
the thing. Nobody is against the pipelines in general. And I don't even know if I'm against this. I'm against the way they're doing this. The public safety, the infringement on landowner rights. I'm not saying the next one won't go through, and it might be a good project.
Well, if it's a company that's already made a pipeline, if it's a company that already knows how to engage the public, right,
and
exactly,
transparent,
yeah, precisely,
and honest,
yeah,
then
it could go a long way.
You could go a lot further than this fly-by-night piece of.
Yeah,
anyway,
indeed.
Speaking of honest,
yes.
Why don't we talk a little bit about potential perjury? Because that, and I'm a little shocked because
you're jaded. You didn't think that was going to happen. It was going to actually get
jaded,
to the.
But there is a perjury case that is being investigated in Morton County.
County Sheriff Kyle Kirchmeier in Morton County says that there is an actual investigation. It is an active investigation that is going on into an accusation of perjury from that first PSC hearing in 2024 that was held in Morton County in Mandan at the Baymont on Monday the 22nd. So it started at 10 o'clock in the morning and went all the way until 6:15 at night that day. And the Public Service Commission had this hearing and had lots and lots of different people speaking. The second person to speak was a fellow who is from Summit Carbon Solutions named Wade Basons. And that's how he pronounces it. It looks like Beauchamps, but it is pronounced Basons. And he's an executive vice president with Summit. So he gave his spiel and spoke. And while he was doing so, there was a gentleman who is an intervener from Bismarck named Chad Moldenauer.
Former intervener,
who was originally one of the interveners. And he was a developer, and he was watching the actual stream on the PSC website at the time that it was going on in real time. So when he saw what Wade Basons had to say, he kind of flipped out a little bit.
His crap.
His crap because he's like, wait a minute. This guy just said something that is completely
lied,
false, untrue. And so, interestingly, I was sitting there. I was taking notes at the time.
By the way, just an FYI, we also heard that same perjury on a radio platform in the state by Scott Hennon that said the same lie.
That has been echoed quite a bit, actually, as a matter of fact. The same story that these three interveners
are, they're all in favor of this now.
Right. And that is untrue.
Chad Moldenauer, Chad Wachter, both developers, and
John
former
Warford.
Bismarck mayor, landowner, John Warford.
Right.
And they pulled out as interveners because of the legal side of things and the financial side of things, but that doesn't mean they're in favor of the project. And I talked to each one of them, but yet you've got Scott Hennon and now Wade Basons saying, no, they're in favor of this now. They're all on board because they pulled out as interveners. Well, just because somebody pulled out as an intervener doesn't mean they're in favor of a project.
No, not at all. In fact, his quote was, "In no way have I collaborated with Summit Carbon Solutions to determine this new route."
Chad Moldenauer.
Chad Moldenauer says this. He said, any assertions made by Mr. Basons that I participated in this decision to place this route where it is right now is a lie and a complete fabrication. So because of that, someone, and we haven't been able to determine
because
who.
These hearings are under oath.
Correct. And you have a judge and you have lawyers and you have to say in the very beginning, Judge Hope Hogan says to every single person who is a witness to this hearing, do you understand what perjury is? Did you hear the oath taken earlier? Do you have to do that? So anyway, as it turned out, somebody, and we are not aware of who actually is the whistleblower in this one, who said, hey, please investigate this. This is possible perjury.
That guy lied under oath.
Right, exactly. Another interesting, quick little side note that North Dakota coal industry is now apparently distancing itself from the carbon pipeline project. That's interesting. They were all in previously, and now all of a sudden they're backing off a little bit.
That brings up an interesting question, because I've also thought, if you take a look at some of the people that have been involved, I think some industries, lignite being one of them, Corn Growers Association being another one, coerced into having to support this. And I think as we're getting further down the road, some of these industries that were, and I'm guessing, but were coerced into having to support this are going, wait a minute, this is not in our best interest. And Jason Bohr with the Lignite Energy Council said, hey, the industry is supportive of that. They're just not supportive of this project.
Correct.
At this point. Does this project make sense for those
It's really not
industries?
A North Dakota project.
Does this
we are
project
the dumping.
make sense for North Dakota corn growers?
Right.
And actually,
one plant.
when you carried their first Friends of Ag and Energy crap,
yep.
I watched the Corn Grower Association guy up there, and he was in the most uncomfortable position I have ever seen in my life.
It was interesting.
I felt bad for him.
Yeah, it was very interesting. That's
not helping our producers.
We broadcast that. Actually, you can find that on our same website that we talk about. And before I go, I would be remiss if I didn't talk about the upcoming PSC hearings yet. On Friday, May 24th, the next one will be held at the Harry Stern and Ella Stern Cultural Center on the North Dakota State College of Science campus in Wahpeton. That is on May 24th, which is a Friday at 9 a.m. And then the following ones after that will be some intervenor meetings as well. The technical hearings, technical hearings. Say it right, Lori. Technical hearing will be held on May 28th in the Brynhild Haugland Room at the state capitol, May 29th and May 30th, and in the judicial wing in the Pioneer Room, and then another technical hearing June 3rd, and then wrap up with another in-person PSC hearing, which will be at our club in Linton on Tuesday, June 4th at 9 a.m. So those are the upcoming hearings for the Public Service Commission regarding the Summit Carbon Solutions proposed CO2 pipeline for 5 states.
BeckTV.plus. You can find all of it right there. Lori, thanks again for keeping us up to date on what's going on.
My pleasure.
Beck News, you can go to BeckTV.plus. This is Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1270.
The Ramsey Show.
So I am 20 years old, straight out of high school. I moved to Phoenix, Arizona to start my own business selling furniture.
What does selling furniture look like?
So I go around picking it up, clean it up, take really good pictures, and sell it. I'll probably do about 100 grand this year net.
Wow.
Some of you are standing around with your finger in your ear. And then you got a 20-year-old with a high school education that's making 100 grand flipping used furniture.
He's laughing all the way to the bank.
The Ramsey Show.
Starting at 5 p.m. weekdays on Super Talk 1270.
Talk of the Town. Weekday mornings starting at 9 on Super Talk 1270 and the free Super Talk 1270 mobile app.
KLXX Mandan Bismarck, a Town Square media station, broadcasting from the View Community Credit Union Studio.com.
Talk of the Town.
Man, that sunset is gorgeous.
Grill, patio, sunset. Hard to get better than that. Unless you're browsing Carvana's inventory while you soak it all in.
Oh, burger time.
So sit back, get comfortable. Carvana's got thousands of cars under $20,000 just waiting for you.
I could stay here forever.
Carvana, where car buying meets comfort, meets convenience. Download the app or visit Carvana.com today.
Bakken, weekday mornings starting at 9 on Super Talk 1270 and the free Super Talk 1270 mobile app.
Portions of the following program are pre-recorded.
Welcome back to Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1270.
Super Talk 1270, you're tuned to Talk of the Town. I'm Steve Bakken, and we've got a fun event coming up really soon. Friday, May 10th, Saturday, May 11th, 8 until 6 o'clock, and 8 until 3 on Saturday. A little rummage sale. Now, it's not your normal rummage sale. It's all helping support the Honor Flight. And Tim Keller from the Freedom Riders here. And by the way, Tim, thanks for coming in, but kudos on what you guys did with the bike show. Holy crap. You talk about raising money for the Honor Flight.
Yeah,
Thank you. You guys did unbelievable.
Well, thank you. Yeah, we couldn't do it without the help of the community. $55,000 is what we raised this year. And it was great to be able to hand that over to them. So,
yeah, you guys did just amazing. And for those that may not be familiar, even though we talk about it a lot with the Honor Flight, getting those veterans to go see the memorials that they were the foundation for in Washington, D.C. That's what the Western North Dakota Honor Flight is all about. Honor Flight in the Valley, over in the eastern part of the state, and Western North Dakota Honor Flight a little bit newer because we've got so many veterans in the western part of the state that couldn't get on those flights. And the Honor Flight has grown from one flight a year to now 2 flights a year. And that fall flight's coming up because just got back in April. And if anybody has not been out to the Welcome Home, you have to go to the Bismarck Airport for the Welcome Home. It is one of the most touching, heartfelt, best events you'll ever attend. Bring the entire family, and it's that connection to the veterans and that military service that we've got in North Dakota. But the fall flight, September 29th and 30th. So, by the way, mark down your calendar, September 30th. You want to be out the Bismarck Airport for the Welcome Home. But everything's in place.
Yep,
that's
everything's
happening.
in place.
And
the vets are going to be getting contacted about 2 weeks from now, and they'll be told that, yep, you're on this flight, blah, 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 and get everything taken care of. And
it's really grown. I mean, there's a line, and I've talked to so many veterans because when I went on the flight last year, such an honor and a privilege and humbling experience is the only way I can describe it, just humbling. But the connection with the veterans when they get to see the Vietnam Memorial, and there was a couple Koreans that were ours. Unfortunately, most of the World War II veterans are past now, but those different memorials and how they connect to that, and for a lot of the Vietnam veterans, it's the first time they've ever spoke about their experiences over there, even to their own families. But when they get in front of that wall and get to the memorials, it's different. It's just different.
It's very different, and it costs a lot to send these guys guys and ladies on this. It's about $200,000, north of $200,000 by the time you get done with everything, because you have to charter a plane, and they deserve it. They deserve every bit of it. And you take them out there and you see the emotions that happen, and like you said, it's humbling, and it's an honor to go with and be able to help them, and it gives them a lot of peace. And it helps them.
It's closure.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. I was fortunate enough to go with my father-in-law and his war buddy, and helping out with other veterans, and there's something that you just don't understand until you're sitting there hugging a veteran in front of the Vietnam Wall for 10 minutes, and that's the first time they've opened up and had emotion about it. And it's like, oh my God, why am I here? And wow, it's just undescribable, Tim.
And in what you were talking about at the airport, we want to encourage people to come out. It's such an emotional thing, but the people that are there, these vets get to see the welcome home that they deserve.
People cared.
Yes.
Because they never got that the
right.
first time around.
And you see 70, 80-year-old men that are just weeping because of the fact that they are now getting the welcome home that they deserved.
Unbelievable. So anyway, back to the fundraising side. So the fall flight set up September 29th and 30th. Mark it down your calendar. Bismarck Airport flight comes in about 7:30-ish, unless it's running late like this last time. But, a lot of great partners, too, because Allegiant Airlines works nationally with the Honor Flight because this is just one piece of a bigger footprint. They work to try to cut the rates and get those planes lined up and do the chartering for that. So thank you for them. But so many different partners that pitch in on this. And a lot of this for us is local. You know, this really comes down to local. And there's nothing more local than having a rummage sale. And you can generate a lot of revenue for a good cause with a rummage sale.
And it's all goodwill donation, except for some of the larger items. They do put some price tags on that. They're looking for items. If anybody wants to donate anything, we aren't taking any kind of the old TVs or computer printers, and we can't take clothes, shoes, exercise equipment, but we will take small kitchen appliances. And
you got a blender, food processor.
Yeah.
We were talking before, bread maker, because everybody buys one of those and never uses it.
And stuff can be delivered. They can start taking it to the address. We'll give that out on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, May 7th, 8th, and 9th. And then the furniture can be delivered on Thursday evening, May 9th. Not until then, because she doesn't want the stuff just sitting outside. But the stuff that they do deliver for furniture on May 9th has to sit out over the night. So, and last year I think they raised $7,000. Let's beat that this year. Let's go out there and knock it out so we can help the vets out.
Well, the bar kind of got set with the Freedom Riders bike show because you guys knocked that out of the park. So let's knock this out of the park. Now, some of the things that you are not accepting, clothes, shoes, exercise equipment as well. You don't want any of that unless somebody's got something new in the box because, maybe that might work.
They can talk to Shelley.
Talk to Shelley.
That's going to be Shelley's idea or deal with. I'm not going to say yes because
my wife. She just likes to throw things away. So I like cleanup week. I'll go around and find things at cleanup week just so I can put them out in the curb at
I'm sure
our house.
There's probably some Minnesota Viking jackets.
I'll go buy new stuff just so I can go. Hey, here, Wendy, get rid of this. She just likes to get rid of stuff.
Yeah, I'm sure somebody could donate some Minnesota Viking jackets or
come on now,
jerseys.
You want to go down that road, don't you?
Hey, but 3600 High Creek Road, that's in Northwest Bismarck. That's where it's going to be happening. That's where you can drop everything off. Todd and Shelley Steinwan's house. They're great. They've hosted the last couple times.
They do a great job with that. Yeah. And if you need more information, too, you can go to the Western North Dakota Honorflight.org. That's westernnDHF.org because, you can find out more information there. But really, the best way for getting a hold of, hey, I got stuff I want to drop off. Do you want this? When should I drop it off? Coordinate all that. Just give them a call.
Right. Or they can
shoot them a text.
Facebook page. They are always updating the Facebook page. So that's a great thing. And they'll have a lot of information there if people have not got signed up for the Honor Flight because we're going to continue to do this. There's about 300 people that are on a waiting list right now. But if they come in and they say, hey, I want to get signed up, we've got the information right at the rummage sale. Or they can go on that website that you were talking about or the Facebook page and get more info.
Or call or text 701-226-2212. That's 701-226-2212. Please don't just drop things off in their driveway. kind of let somebody know that something's coming or it's going to be there or you make a contact. Because I know logistically last year there was a little, people were just dropping stuff off and you're like, well, it's not really stuff we take or, trying to move some stuff or get it in the right places. So it really kind of help out with the coordination a little bit.
Junk. We don't want any junk.
No.
We're trying to raise money, and this isn't a place that, hey, we're cleaning out our garage or our little shed out back, and let's just take this there, and they can take care of it, taking it out to the dumps.
Gently used items that are typical garage sale items, except for the clothes, shoes, exercise equipment, that clothes rack that used to be a treadmill that you used once. Now, don't drop that off either. Or, like you said, the electronics, kitchen appliances and things like that are good. But 3600 High Creek Road, Northwest Bismarck. You can drop off quality rummage sale items for the sale on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday of this week. Great opportunity to help out with the honor flight. This is Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1270.
Super Talk.
Man, that sunset is gorgeous.
Grill, patio, sunset. Hard to get better than that. Unless you're browsing Carvana's inventory while you soak it all in.
Oh, burger time.
So sit back, get comfortable. Carvana's got thousands of cars under $20,000 just waiting for you.
I could stay here forever.
Carvana, where car buying meets comfort, meets convenience. Download the app or visit Carvana.com today.
Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1270.
Super Talk 1270, you're tuned to Talk of the Town. I'm Steve Bach, and joining us on the program, of course, Brad from Runnings. Of course, that's the Cool Runnings. Not just because it's the Bismarck store, and that's the one I shop at all the time, but also because they pitch in with a lot of really cool things like the Big Muddy, which took place on Saturday. What a fishing tournament. I heard some of the sizes of the fish were down, but the biggest fish was still pretty nice, Brad.
Yeah, the biggest one that came in that came to our area was 13.45 pounds was the largest fish of the day. So
that's a hog.
You would never catch me complaining.
I'm an aficionado of walleye cheeks, and the walleye cheeks on a 13-pound walleye would be phenomenal.
Oh, yeah. When we go out every year with my uncle, that's one of his big things. He loves it when we can get off the boat and we have 6, 7, 8 walleye that he can get some cheeks out of. He loves it, and it's his favorite part. And I've never been able to go over when he makes them, though, so I've never had one.
Well,
no.
Okay, so that's the appetizer while you're cooking fish. Because everybody wants to sample, and when you're making a fish fry and you're cooking fish, the walleye cheeks always get done first, and that's the appetizer, and they never make it to the table.
The go-to. So I suppose they're a lot smaller. They're done relatively quickly there.
Oh yeah, just done. Yeah.
But no, it was a good tournament yesterday. Got to give Mandan some props. They lent us a person over the weekend, so we had some help from the Mandan store on Saturday, and so it was a crazy day. Just a huge weekend at the store. It was busy as all get up, and Mandan gave us a person to help run the live wells. There are 100 teams, and not a single team came in empty-handed on Saturday. Every team weighed in, so that was really cool to see. And then out of all the fish that came through the weigh-in station, we only lost 12 with the live tanks. So it was a very successful live release day, and it was really cool to see. And we have people who are very happy with the live wells. It's something that we're proud of, and we like to get these fish back into the water so they can move on, and other fishermen can get out there now. Now, if you were out there yesterday, I'm sure you saw people on Sunday downstream of the Broken Oar.
Yeah.
And all week you're going to see people out there just really enjoying it. And we have customers who come in and show us photos. And this is a really cool week for us because we see a lot of people come back from this tournament who are very excited about it. And they've seen us out there, and they're just really happy that this is something we can provide for that tournament.
Well, I was crossing the river Sunday morning, and there were boats all over the place, either fishing or I even saw some pontoons out. And that was early in the morning. It was a beautiful morning, and people were out.
With all this going on, I didn't even realize, is paddlefish open right now, too?
Oh, yeah, paddlefish is open, but with the low water flows, they're thinking that it's probably going to close pretty quick because they're catching some phenomenal numbers up there in the confluence. It's crazy.
Northeast or northwest, correct?
Yeah, up at Williston.
No, we saw. I heard about it, and I totally forgot that paddlefish season's underway and kicked off, and everything was kind of wrapped up in the muddy and walleye, and We have this huge fishing flyer that kicked off this week, too. And, one of the things I always forget about paddlefish in North Dakota, and I don't think a lot of people outside of North Dakota might think about that as like a destination. We have got some huge paddlefish in North Dakota.
Well, and the other part, too, is, I grew up in Grand Forks, so fishing for big channel cats in the Red River, and you kind of use some of the same equipment because you need that big, sturdy, stiff pole to go snagging with, and it's kind of. Have you ever been paddle fishing?
So, it's not something I've ever been a part of, but I know we have a couple employees who will take a week off because it's again, I'm not familiar with it, but once the tanks are filled and the season's over.
Right, it's done as soon as they hit that cap. And have you ever had paddlefish caviar?
I have not.
Ooh,
but
that's a delicacy.
I have a guy who works in their automotive department who told me last year, he's like, I tell you what, Brad, when this hits, I'll bring you some.
Oh, there you go. All right. So actually, let me know when he's, I might stop by the store that day. Hey, let's wrap up with the Big Muddy because, a lot of teams, everybody weighed fish. Big one was nice. Numbers overall, size-wise, down a little bit, but the winning team still had a pretty good total for fish.
Yeah, the winning team weighed in at 43 pounds. So, a great day. And it was a good day for weigh-ins. It was a good day for the teams to be out on the water. And it was just really cool. It's really cool to be part of it and to see people thanking you for running it and seeing people, the crowds come out for weigh-in. Weigh-in's a spectacle, man. Like, even if you're not really into fishing, watching these teams come in off the water and seeing some of these fish that they're pulling up to the weigh-in it's amazing. And these guys come from all over to come fish this tournament. And, once you're in, you're in. There's 100 teams, and you don't lose your spot until you back out of the tournament.
Yeah, it was a crazy day on Saturday over at the Broken Oar, and Marina Bay was all stacked up, and a lot of people out fishing, a lot of people watching, a lot of spectators, and, of course, Running's doing the live tanks. And you know what? I stopped by, and my favorite thing to do is when the boats come in, it's like, okay, they did really well, and I kind of look at their rods and go, what are they using? That's kind of, okay, what's the secret sauce there? And then I run over to Runnings and grab whatever it looks like they were using, and then, hey, I do well.
Yeah, and it's crazy. And you see, like, the people who are catching, they all have their own setups, and they make them all themselves, and the jigs they're using, and like everything that they do. Like, these guys are so involved in what they're doing, and it's just such a wide variety of things being used. And even it kind of gives you false hope that you can just go out and land these fish. You guys know what they're doing.
Oh, no. No false hope. Brad, no false hope. Just it gives you confidence. That's what it does. The cool thing.
There we go.
The other cool thing too is with Kev there doing the weigh-ins and running the live tank. So if you're going to go out on the river and go do a little fishing, and if you stop into Runnings and track down Kev, you go, hey, what's working right now? Because he'll know. He's got all the latest in the fishing department. Get everybody all lined out, and Kev kind of knows things. It's a little frightening sometimes.
And Kev's really good at talking to all the guys out there, all the teams out there, and just kind of shooting crap at them a little bit and seeing what they're doing. And these teams are wonderful. Like, they are out there to help you be better fishermen as well. They're not there to keep closely guarded. There's locations they might guard, but as far as what they're using and how they're fishing, these teams, these fishermen are so good at talking, especially like some of the kids out there, showing them what they're using and talking about what they're using and why they're using it. And these guys are incredible. Like, they're there to keep the sport alive, and they want to make the next generation just as excited to be out there. So it's really cool to see these teams interact with, well, the audience, I guess. Like, we're out there to watch them and see what comes in. So
Another great season for the Big Muddy Fishing Tournament. Now we've got a couple weeks left of really good fishing on the Missouri River, and then things start filtering out a little bit over to the big lakes, whether it's Oahe or Sakakawea, but it's still some pretty good fishing on the Missouri River right now. We're talking with Brad over at Runnings. Of course, Runnings operates the live tanks. This is Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1270.
Media.
Man, that sunset is gorgeous.
Grill, patio, sunset. Hard to get better than that. Unless you're browsing Carvana's inventory while you soak it all in.
Oh, burger time.
So sit back, get comfortable. Carvana's got thousands of cars under $20,000 just waiting for you.
I could stay here forever.
Carvana, where car buying meets comfort, meets convenience. Download the app or visit Carvana.com today.
Back to Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1270.
Super Talk 1270, you're tuned to Talk of the Town. I'm Steve Black, along with Brad Ock, Runnings General Manager, the Cool Running, 701 South Washington in Bismarck. And, I was thinking with the Mandan store, lending a person to Kev to go help at the Big Muddy, then, boy, Kev probably had more time to wander around, talk, and not work. So I'm not sure if that was a good idea or not.
That man, he can talk. So that surprised me. He's like, I want to go walk around for a little bit. What I'm doing.
So one of the other things, by the way, no Meat Stick Monday today because you're busy running around because the garden center is absolutely crazy off the hook. Wendy went there and did some shopping this weekend, and just as fast as things empty out, things fill up again. They empty out again. It's like your garden center and the greenhouse, absolutely crazy right now, and you got a lot of stuff on sale.
Yeah, you know what? On Saturday it was nuts. So because of the freeze Friday night, we didn't get our plant truck. And thankfully, we didn't get hit too hard Friday night, so we didn't have anything really happen. But our plant truck postponed and pushed off to Saturday. And it was, a good truck for us is 15 to 18 carts. That's a good refill truck. It gets a bunch of stuff out on. We had 33 racks on Saturday, and then another 29 racks this morning. So, the greenhouse is packed and ready to go. So if we are out of something and you were here last week, 52 racks is enough to fill our greenhouse 1.5 times almost. So it's one of those things where by all means, we got baskets on sale. There's perennials on sale. We got vegetables on sale right now. The little 3.5-inch vegetables are $2.99. If it's not too late to start a few things from seed, especially if you want to do flowers, all our seeds are 20% off right now in the store. So if that's still something you want to come and do, peas, carrots, all that stuff, that's all seed starting stuff. Come on in and all that stuff's on sale and you can push that into the ground right now. We have the flat sale going on with flowers and vegetables. That's all 4-packs. And you can mix and match and you can put 12 4-packs on a flat. It's only $24.99. We don't care which ones you pick out. Just fill a flat. And then we're going to come in, we're going to ring up a flat price of $24.99. Little 4-packs of strawberries are on sale, and annuals are on sale. I mean, this is our kickoff week. You got to come check this out and see what we got going on.
Well, I was going to mention the strawberries because Wendy picked up some strawberries because she had me cultivate a little strawberry patch for her because she makes jam. And we got rhubarb on one side of it and strawberries on the other. And every year I'll add 3 or 4 strawberry plants in there just to kind of get them going again and keep them going and kind of add to that little strawberry patch. And yeah, she picked up some of those. It's like, yep, I'll be planting those. As soon as it dries out a little bit, but our little strawberry patch is still a little damp. Yeah, but we got them now.
So, if you look at the 10-day forecast, it's looking pretty good. There's some small chances of rain yet this week, but the 10-day forecast is looking really nice. You're seeing a lot of 60s out there, overnight lows in the low to mid 40s right now. This is really nice. We're really happy to see this because we got a huge shipment of tropicals in from down south, and there's hibiscus trees and shrubs and lavender things, and we've got birds of paradise, ferns, and I mean, we just got a really cool shipment of tropicals, and those poor things have been living inside the store for the last 6 days because we're waiting for our overnight lows to change. So we got some new things coming into the store for people to see and look at. So it's really exciting things happening right now in the greenhouse.
You know, I mentioned the strawberries too, but you also got 25% off of all your berry plants. So whether it's strawberries or you want to plant some blueberries or blackberries or raspberries, you've got all that as well. And, you know, one of the things we always have to wait for is soil temperatures to get up a little bit. And I kind of mitigated some of that because when I built our garden in our backyard, I did an elevated garden plot. So I did it overkill, big railroad timbers and elevated and filled in and all that good stuff. And, you know, if you have a little bit smaller yard, I noticed one of the things you've got on sale, and I would strongly suggest people that maybe don't have all the space to do a garden, but a great option because you get into the garden a little bit earlier, elevated garden. And you've got those corrugated metal raised garden beds on sale, 40 by 40. It's perfect if you got a small backyard.
Yeah, you know, and we've got a good selection of metal and like a cedar wood raised garden bed. Another thing we're seeing, there's some really cool things happening right now with water tanks where people are using like those 2x2x4s or the 2x3x8s, and they're either cutting out the bottom or they're just drilling bigger holes in the bottom. I would imagine it's probably better to just cut out the bottom and then just set it down there, so then you can lay down some cardboard or whatever type of mulch, barrier, organic type material you want to put down on the ground, and then set that tank over the top. And it's a really cool galvanized steel look for a raised bed, depending on what your atmosphere is you're trying to set back there.
Well, one of the things I did when I built mine is I did the elevated garden, and then I put in the silt mat underneath it, so I can make sure all that soil is safe. Now I had to add my own worms and night crawlers and things like that, but I have my own little space, and it's water permeable, but it actually holds things in a little bit better, so I can manage that garden space and the soil type that I want a little bit better. And tell you what, her tomatoes, cucumbers, potatoes, crazy, just absolutely crazy, because we're able to manage that soil that their things are growing in.
Yeah, to get started, you know, this is a good time to get started if you're going to do a raised bed, or you think you're going to, because we do have some of that raised flower bed soils on sale right now, and it's not too often. We have the organic on sale this week. It's the 1.5 cubic foot bag for $5.99, and the organic doesn't typically run on sale that often. So if you are looking at doing a raised flower bed or garden or something, we have a lot of soil on sale at the store. So it's a really good time to swing in and pick up your dirt. Even if you're 2 or 3 weeks out, get this stuff while it's on sale and save $1 or $2 down the road.
Well, a few weeks back, 3 weeks or so, you had it on sale 4 for $12. I bought the rest of the pallet. It's like, because I always had new organic.
That was crazy. That white bag for 4 for $12.
That was nuts.
But you know, and that's something good too. And I gotta throw out, that was part of a vendor program that our buyer had worked with them on to be like, hey, we want to provide a value. What can you do for us if we buy X amount? And he was able to work with the vendor and the supplier, and they were able to give him a discount on the purchase under the assumption and the promise that he would run this sale. So he was able to double dip on that deal for the 4 for $12, and he was able to get a deal from Miracle Grow to pass that deal on to the customers, and then we gave part of that deal too. So it was a really neat joint effort, and I'm sure it's happened multiple times. This is the first time it's been shared with us that this is what they did. So that was really neat. You know, they went in specifically with this item, with this price point in mind, and both companies came together and gave the deal.
Great way to help out the customers, and of course, great place to shop. 701 South Washington, Runnings in Bismarck. This is Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1270.
That's not just the sound of that first sip of Morning Joe. It's the sound of someone shopping for a car on Carvana from the comfort of home.
That's a good blend.
It's time to take it easy, like answering some easy questions to get pre-qualified for a car in minutes.
Talk about starting the morning right.
Just like customizing your terms so your car fits your budget. Visit Carvana.com or download the app to experience car shopping the way it should be. Convenient, comfortable.
1270.
Welcome back to Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1270.
Super Talk 1270, you're tuned to Talk of the Town. I'm Steve Bachman along with Brad Ock, General Manager over at Runnings in Bismarck, 701 South Washington. And of course, it is May, and that means but one thing. And actually, this year it means two things, May and June, because DeWalt has got pretty much everything on sale. I'm running through this DeWalt flyer you sent me, and oh my gosh, I never thought that there would be so many different tools or systems, or they've got something for everything, Brad.
They do. So last week, over Christmas, I had done the whole buy 3 tools, get the 3 batteries, the charger, the bag, and everything for free. And my wife wanted a pruning saw because she wants to help with some of a smaller, something she can use in the back and take care of the shrubs and stuff and the trees, pruning all on her own. Well, I mean, so I got the 8-inch pruning chainsaw, didn't think twice about it. And my wife, she was like, I thought you got this pruning thing for me over Christmas. Well, I did. It's in the bottom right cabinet. Pulled it out, and she puts it in her hand, and she takes a photo. She's like, this big thing? Like, how am I supposed to, like, it's an 8-inch chainsaw. She's like, well, I want the little pruner thing. Like, oh, the shears.
The shears.
And it was May 2nd. I'm like, well, you just happen to be lucky we're on day 2 of the DeWalt sale. So I grabbed the pruning shears outside of the DeWalt sale are an extra $30 off with a free battery right now. So I'm like, well, I'll just pick up the pruning shears and be over because I'm curious how they work anyways. And in my mind, I had thought once you pull that trigger, it was like an automatic, like just keep cutting away. But no, every trigger pull is just one cut. And this thing is crazy. And so, of course, like I ran home on my lunch and I gave her this pruning shears. And we go in back and we start cutting a few things like this is slick. I mean, up to 1.5 inches. We didn't cut anything that big, but we were up to 1 inch, and this thing just, boom, just cut right through it. I was like, wow. Like, it was kind of fun. So then I got home from work that night, and there's just piles. There's piles everywhere.
She deforested your lot.
She's like, before I knew it, I heard the bell ring down, because we live a block from the school. She's like, is that the school bell? She goes, oh, my gosh, it is. And she's like, I had a lot of fun. She's like, there's a lot of piles of twigs and branches and vines all over the backyard, though, now. So, it really made the job a lot easier, and it was kind of fun. And now I want to help her this week do a little more pruning because it was kind of neat to see that thing in action.
Okay, but I want you to be honest here for a moment. You actually knew that she wanted the pruning shears, and you wanted the pruning chainsaw, so that's where the mistake came in, right?
This is, once this airs, there's no turning back. So I'm going to say she wanted the pruning saw.
Come on, Brad, admit it.
But, for this yard work stuff, we now have the hedge trimmer. We have a pruning saw that I haven't yet used. The pruning shears, which was a lot of fun. The trimmer, a blower, and the battery-operated mower. And I do not have a gas can in our garage for mixed gas right now. And for some people, this would work wonderful. For other people, I get it. You need the power. You have to run the gas because you're not going to be able to finish your project in 30, 40 minutes. Like, to mow my lawn takes 2 batteries. You might not want to deal with that. So you're going to put gas in there and do that. But if you've ever had that idea of switching, these are the sales. Like when Milwaukee runs theirs, when DeWalt runs theirs, like these are the events. This is where you're just like, you know what, I'm going to do the switch, and you're going to come in and do it. Even our lawnmowers are on sale right now for DeWalt.
One of the cool, you still have snowblowers on sale too. I just thought I'd throw that out there. Hopefully we won't need them anymore.
I'll always be able to deal with them.
One of the cool things too is if you buy 3 tools right now, 3 select tools, you get 3 free batteries, or and the charger and stuff, or the Tough System box.
Yeah, I was a little bummed because when I did it, I got the 3 batteries, the charger, and the flashlight, and I got the carrying bag, which I thought was really cool because that was a new addition over Christmas. Now it's the Tough System box, so I'm like, well, I already bought the shears, and I would do this for a customer, so I'm going to say this over the radio. I already bought the shears, so if you change your mind and you want to buy 2 more tools, we'll return that first one, and then we'll resell it with your other 2, so you get the 3-pack deal. So that way you're not missing out. So let's say 2 weeks later, you're like, you know what? I really do want that impact wrench, or I really should have got that reciprocating saw or that radio. And you change your mind and you're going to up it up. Just tell us. We want to make sure you get this whole buy 3, get all these other things free deal is for 2 months. You're not going to miss out just because you split your purchase up.
Yeah, you just keep adding on to the, you try one and go, maybe I want that one too. And, well, maybe I want that one too. And if you kind of ease into it a little bit instead of just go whole hog, then you'll take care of them.
Absolutely. And then even some of the fun accessories. So I'm surprised how many of the right angle attachments we sell for drills.
Oh, those are amazing.
Because if you ever have it where you just can't get in there with your drill and you need this right angle attachment, it's pretty much half off right now. It's usually $38. It's $19.99. And when you need it, you will be happy you have it.
Pet supplies, farm and ranch, clothing, DeWalt on sale this month and next month. Of course, the sporting goods. I'd be a little remiss because we're starting to get into that season now if we didn't talk about Campco. Of course, you guys are a major vendor for Campco now, which is the name in camping gear.
And I tell you what, Campco, they held nothing back when they shipped to us this year because we have got piles of Campco on our top stock ready to go. So the most sought after items, there is depth in our assortment right now to help cover your needs.
Lots of stuff. Be sure to check it out. And, of course, the garden sale going on right now. The greenhouse is going gangbusters. Everything you need for planting, getting into the garden, fertilizer, pre-treat, all of it. It's all right there in one place, and that is running 701 South Washington, Bismarck. Brad, looking forward to Meet Monday next week. Right?
Hey, you know what? Yeah. We got to get back into it. Absolutely. I've really been slacking.
All right. I'm just a little disappointed this week. Brad Ock over at Runnings. This is Talk of the Town on Super Talk 1270.
Welcome to May 6th on the National Day calendar. Today, we're tipping our hats to the healthcare heroes and raising a glass to our favorite sips.
National Nurses Day marks the beginning of a week-long tribute to those who wear the scrubs and dedicate their lives to caring for others. The profession's roots go way back to ancient Rome, but it wasn't until Florence Nightingale, the lady with the lamp, revolutionized healthcare during the Crimean War that nursing was recognized as a respected profession. So whether it's a Band-Aid for a grazed knee or a comforting word during a difficult time, let's celebrate these everyday heroes for all they do.
Yeah, there's not enough words to say. You're a hero in every way. So I raise my glass for everything that you do.
You're used to the frontline warrior. And I agree, even a Band-Aid, just the sight of blood for people sometimes is...
I'm one of those people.
Are you?
Can't do blood. I don't like needles. I could never be a nurse. So I believe this profession is such an amazing thing because they are saving lives, literally.
All the time. Thank you, nurses, for what you do. From the heartfelt care of nurses, we swing to the carefree joy of National Beverage Day. Today to celebrate everything from the humble water, the most crucial beverage for life, to the fanciest of fizzy drinks or the coziest cup of tea. Did you know that the first recorded soft drink, a mix of water with lemon juice sweetened with honey, dates back to the time of Julius Caesar? So seize the day, drink in the history, and maybe try a new beverage on this National Beverage Day.
Here in New York, they trade everything. Gold, silver, platinum, heating oil, propane, cocoa and sugar, and of course, frozen concentrated orange juice.
What new beverage are you trying today?
I've really been getting into lemon infused things lately, so I'm probably going to find something new there.
I like that. Infused, sparkly, refreshing.
Yes.
Where are we going?
Sounds like a great new name for a drink brand.
Grab your keys.
Let's do it.
I'm Latoya Johnson.
I'm Marlo Anderson.
Thank you for joining us on our journey to celebrate every day.
And don't forget to share your Nurses Day and Beverage Day celebrations with us using hashtag Destination Celebration Show. Until next time, keep celebrating.
Talk of the Town.
KLXX Mandan Bismarck, a Town Square media station, broadcasting from the View Community Credit Union studio.
What's the easiest choice you can make? Window instead of middle seat? Picking a vendor who sends a great gift basket? Outsourcing business tasks you hate? What about selling with Shopify? Whether you're selling a little or a lot, Shopify helps you do your thing, however you cha-ching. Shopify is the global commerce platform that helps you sell at every stage of your business. From the launch your online shop stage to the first real-life store stage, all the way to the did we just hit 1 million orders stage. Shopify's there to help you grow. Whether you're selling scented soap or offering outdoor outfits, Shopify helps you sell. Wherever and whatever you're selling, Shopify's got you covered. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/try. Go to shopify.com/try now to grow your business, no matter what stage you're in. Shopify.com/try.